Hello, welcome back to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Good to be here as always, good to have you here. Review number 55, part 2 of my new series, or latest series, That Awkward Age, where I'm looking at whiskies aged 3 to 16, not including 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds, etc, etc. I did explain this in the last episode. Where were you? If you didn't see that last episode, I'll just drop a little link to it up in here. And yes, part 2, and we're moving over to Islay once again to look at a 5-year-old, and it's a 5-year-old that has been talked about quite a bit recently, the Wee Beastie from Ardbeg. So what do we know? Well, what do we know about Ardbeg first of all? Obviously they're in Islay, owned by LVMH, and well, what do we know about this? I'll not go too deep into it. Balled at 47.4%. Yes. It's non-shelf filtered. Is the colour added? As per usual, Ardbeg don't really say, so we take it for granted that there is, but as per usual with Ardbeg, there wouldn't be an awful lot in that, because it's pretty clear, isn't it? So let's just get into the review, and then we'll go back and look at it a little bit later and reflect. That do? Yes. Okay. On the nose, sweet, earthy, peaty smoke, right? I can say that very safely, just straight out the bag. Sweet, earthy, peaty smoke. That's very, very definitely an Ardbeg. There ain't no mistake in that. It does, if you've ever been to one of those old homestead museums, there's a couple of them here in Ireland, a few of them, and they have the small stone cottages with peat fires burning. And literally when you walk through the door, this is what it smells like. This is just what it smells like. So you get that sweet, earthy peat smokiness. Where does it go? Well, it also goes a little rubbery, like a hard rubber matting, if you can imagine that. Rubber floor matting. So you take all those, they're not artificial smells, but if you know what I mean, they're not foods or anything else, out of the picture once they're passed, because that's what's all over the entry to this nose. Then you start to look at meats, barbecued meat, barbecue sauce. It's slightly, well, it's not briny, but more seaweed and rock pool smell. And then more of the artificialness, and when I say artificialness, I mean like tarmac, fresh tarmac. But there is also vanilla pod, quite strong vanilla pod, not vanilla essence, just freshly scraped vanilla pod. Also, let it sit. I'm going to say let it sit. Don't agitate it, because every time you agitate this whiskey, I've discovered all of those rubbery, smoky, tarmacy notes come back to life, just really, really freshly, and overpower everything else. Because if you leave it, don't agitate it, let it settle, there's lime in it, there's orange in it, there are citrus notes, not lemon, I wouldn't say lemon, but more lime and orange, and they will start to appear. So onto the palate. More sweet peat smoke. Even, oh yeah, very much so. Right through the palate. Slightly malty. More brine and seaweed. Let it spread around a little, and it starts to turn into gingerbread. And there's a chili burn comes with it. Yeah. Now something else I did notice with this, and I was saying about letting it settle. Cleanse your palate often with this. It doesn't do any harm, I've found, to cleanse your palate. You would want to cleanse your palate quite regularly anyway. Peated whiskey, I like to cleanse my palate quite regularly because it just tends to leave an awful lot of what's going on around the peripherals, and it makes it very difficult to start and find more notes or see what else is going on. And I discovered with this, as I wet my palate while I was drinking this, that it becomes more creamy. Now, I will dilute this in a moment with water, and it tends to, it'll make it even more so, but as I said, it just doesn't do any harm. Cleanse the palate. More creamy, more vanilla. Still hints of smoke, hints of tar, hints of rubber, but the sweeter, creamier notes, the vanilla, as I said, starts to come through more just by cleansing the palate alone. It balances it out better. Finish, very long, very smoky, more chilly, and as I said, just lots and lots and lots of smoke with this. Yet again, 47.4 and very peated. It can take water well, so don't be selfish with the water. Now, as I said earlier, refreshing the palate. So you imagine that by diluting this with water, you're going to open that up and make it more creamy, make it more balanced, and maybe tone down some of those smokier notes. And sure enough, it does. Now, they're still there. The tar's there, the rubber's there, but the barbecued meat and the barbecued sauce and all start to become even burnt ends. Yeah. And that water strangely spreads it more. Not strange, I suppose you're diluting it, but it spreads it to different places. It's tends to go to the sides now, rather than maybe lingering around at the back of the tongue. It's spread out better. Still some of that chili burn, still some of that gingerbread. The finish, remains long, remains smoky, but not so much, and makes it more enjoyable, more palatable. It is a nice whiskey. It is, and as I said earlier, very much an Ardbeg. Now, what I was going to say at the start, I decided to leave it till now, was that why a 5-year-old, why Ardbeg put out a 5-year-old whiskey? Well, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Ardbeg could have very easily not put that 5-year-old age statement on there at all. They could have easily just called this Wee Beastie. This is £40-ish, all bar the shine. So they could have easily left that 5 off it. They could have just called it Wee Beastie and put it on the market at £60, £70. You know, they could have fired it in there. I mean, you're looking, if you roughly round the sort of range, if you're looking at Ardbeg, you're looking at Wee Beastie, the 10-year-old Anoa, the Ugadal, and then the Corrie Frack, and that sort of range going up price wise. Because I mean, most of us know that Ardbeg aren't known for their age stated whiskies. So they could have easily left that 5 off there, fired it in among some of those non-age statement whiskies, and charged an awful lot more for it. And none of us would ever have known that it was 5 years old. It could have been any age. And I imagine there are those die-hard fans that would still have paid it. Probably an awful lot of us would have paid it. What they have given us is a young whiskey, 5 years old, with an age statement, from a distillery with a reputation, with a good reputation, a good looking, good tasting whiskey for an affordable price. So I do give Ardbeg credit for Wee Beastie. As I say, it is, there's enough of us out there, and if you've had the 10-year-old, etc., I would recommend trying this, definitely, because it's a good whiskey from Ardbeg, and certainly not one to be ignored. They built up an awful lot of steam ahead of this, selling it in different parts of the world, not releasing it in other parts of the world, to the point where, you know, everybody either wanted it or they dug their heels in, and they just, you know, everybody at a time seemed to want to try Wee Beastie. It's now available here. As I say, I would recommend it at the price. There you go. That's this review wrapped up. But remember what else we have to do. Yes, if you like this, I'm going to recommend something else to you. And it's this Kilchoman Macker Bay. And I absolutely love, if you're a peated whiskey fan, I would recommend this to you. I would recommend this to every whiskey fan, but particularly if you like your peat. When I opened this at first, this was the first whiskey that Wee Beastie made me think of this. Now, the further this has got down over the shoulder, it's shaped, it's changed, it's become something slightly different. But it just took me back to this, and this I would highly recommend. This was pretty much remains entry level from the Kilchoman distillery there, also in Islay, balled at 46%, all singing, all dancing, and to me just a beautifully well crafted, rich, creamy, thick peated whiskey. So if you like Wee Beastie, I recommend you give Kilchoman Macker Bay a go. There you have it. That's me done for part 2 of my series, That Awkward Age. I'll be back next week with another one. Until then, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to my patrons. If you'd like to join in, the details are down below. Till next time, here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.